What's up, guys? Today we're going to be working on tearing down and completely rescaping and resetting up what I once called my favorite tank. This tank had such potential, had a lot just going into it, and nothing really panned out. I really wish it did. I really wish the crypts grew in like crazy, like I had hoped they would. They're starting to grow a lot better now that I've raised the light to like this point, which is quite high, but I guess it is a pretty powerful light, so it makes sense. But yeah, so gonna be pulling out all of this stuff, and I'm gonna be using most of the crypts again. So I still want to have something like a crypt tank, but it'll be different. But yeah, so that's happening, and it's for the better. I think I'm gonna be really happy with what I put in here eventually. But yeah, time to get started, just tearing stuff apart. I just finished cleaning the tank. I moved all the other fish into quarantine and stuff off camera. It's not super exciting, so I didn't show it. Tank's all fresh. Next thing to do is to go through, excuse me, bud, to go through all of the filtration. Obviously, the rest of it's down here. Not obviously, that's not obvious at all. It's in my bathtub. Got to go through all this, clean out the lily pipes, clean out the tubes, and we're just gonna throw it back on the tank. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to scape tonight or not. I might just get everything set up for tomorrow and then spend the entire day tomorrow scaping. Actually, I might set up some stuff and see if I like it first. Yeah, I'll probably do that. So I'll probably set up something. I'll probably set up something sort of behind the scenes and get it arranged in the tank, see if I like the composition, and then start fresh tomorrow basically. So if I like it, I'll take it out and then I'll show you guys the whole process. But if I don't like it, I'll show you guys what I didn't like and start from there. Obviously explaining why I didn't like it. But yeah, so time to clean some filters. All right, so last time I filmed, I think I was cleaning filters and stuff like that. But immediately after I did film, I put on a pot of coffee and stayed up until 3 or 4 in the morning aquascaping and just messing with the tank. So I spent about a good 3.5 hours just tweaking and just standing back there looking at it, standing back there looking at it. And I think I've got something I really like. So at this point, basically I need to clean up the hardscape and just prep the tank, and I'll show you guys as I piece it all together, like re-piece it together after cleaning all the rocks and stuff. They're kind of dirty. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good one. this stuff. Obviously this is a just, it's filter media. It's some fine floss. This is for, I mean, you can see the silhouette kind of there. It's for a sun canister filter, or whatever they're called. They go by different names, the little cheap ones. But I have a ton of media for those guys, so what I'm doing is packing the gaps in between the rocks so that when I go to add the substrate back in the island, none of the soil spills out and goes in between the gaps. And that'll just keep the soils really separate, keep the tank clean, all that stuff. So yeah, this is more or less the hardscape that we've got. I definitely want more stone. Oh, geez Louise. A little bit more stone would be helpful, just to create a little bit of contrast on the soil, or on the foreground, like little smaller pieces of stone, which I'm going to add these. I'm just going to wait until I add the cosmetic sand, and then once I add the cosmetic sand, I'll just place these in a couple spots. But yeah, so that's more or less it. Time to add the dirt, and then we'll add the aqua soil and go from there. That's the dirt. Next up, we're gonna add aqua soil on top of it. You always want to cap dirt. It makes a huge mess if you don't. Normally what I'd do is I'd cap with like a really small pea gravel, 2 to 4 millimeter particle size, rounded, natural colors, but I don't have any. So we're gonna use, this is UNS Contra Soil and ADA Amazonia to cap the dirt in this thing. Just realized I forgot to wet the dirt. That all probably looked like nothing. Probably should have changed the camera angle or something. But to show you guys from above, this is what we've got. It's spilling out over the sides a little bit. I kind of want that. I kind of want to be able to plant a little bit in the edges on the back here, because I think I might eventually pull out the sand and then do a carpet and have like more plants around here, but I'm not sure yet, so I'm just kind of leaving it open. I also don't have enough stone to block it off completely. But yeah, so next up is the cosmetic sand. We're going to be using ADA La Plata sand in there. There's still a little bit of contra soil in here, so I've got to sift through a little bit of that first, and then we'll start using it. I wanted to have the sand basically flat all the way around as opposed to sloping it. It's kind of sloping here and a little bit over here, but I think once we add water, it'll even out a little bit more. So what I'm about to do is add water basically to like here, just so the substrate will be wet and it'll be easier to plant. And then I'll go ahead and start planting. But I have a good bit of stuff laid out. obviously back here, we've got the cryptosporalis that was in the tank. This is the Cryptocorn costata. This is a plant that I'm really hoping will do well in here. It's a plant that I really want to see grow well. This is like miscellaneous sort of green crypts. This is all what I think is Crypt Tropica or Crypt Bronze, or maybe Albida or something. They all look very, very similar. They've got this pink underside, but some of them you can see are a little bit more green. So they may be a different species and they're just growing a certain way because of the lighting in the old tank. This is Pontidarefolia. Let me see if I can find, yeah, this one, that's what their leaves should look like. They're kind of wide leaves, like lower to the ground, so those will be going more toward the front of the tank in this section. And then, of course, we've got the narrow leaf Java fern, one of my favorite plants. This is the plant that I really hope is going to take off in here and take up a lot of space in the tank. This is like the focus. The plant that I'm missing that I really want is a tiger lotus or just a red dwarf lily, and that's going to be sort of the centerpiece, the focal point of the aquascape. So as you can sort of see, this section right here is going to be the heavy point. Meaning in aquascaping you have a heavy point and you have lighter points, and you want your heavy point to be in the third of the golden ratio, all that stuff. So the rocks come up really sharp right here, and we're gonna have a red lotus right here, and then the plants will get thinner and thinner as we go out, with the cryptosporalis in the back, the costata kind of around that, the Pontidarefolia and the Tropica kind of wrapping around this section, and then all these plants up here just covered in narrowleaf Java fern. And we'll probably eventually come around and do some mosses on the branches and some other stuff, but right now this is what we're going to start with. First things first, I'm going to start with the heavy section. I want the background to be all that cryptosporalis. A lot of these guys need their roots trimmed, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and start planting. Call it. I'm really regretting at this point that I didn't tie the plants to the wood before I set the scape up. For some reason I was thinking like, oh, I don't know how I want to put the plants in until after I've got everything else in, but I knew what hardscape I was doing, so I would have known where I wanted to put the plants. But yeah, so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm taking little bits of string and I'm putting like 2 or 3 rhizomes together and sticking them somewhere. And then I'm using my 2 sets of tweezers to hold the string with just the tweezers, not my hands, and tying knots around the wood with just tweezers, like I'm tying flies or something like that. It's really intense, it's kind of cool, but it's very tedious and it's getting annoying. But I'm not going to film a ton of this because obviously it's not super exciting. I'm probably just going to show you guys once I've done finished adding the narrowleaf Java fern, and then we'll fill the tank and I'll show you guys all that stuff. later. I'm filming 3 weeks later because somebody forgot to film an outro. This is how the tank is doing. Obviously, you can probably tell that the crypt level is not as heavy as when it was first planted. It's a lot of melt when I first set it up. Poniderifolia is growing back like really well. You can see that one leaf right there, but you can just see how, you know, barren it kind of is. A lot of the plants survived. They're just really small. It's like 1 or 2 leaves. You can kind of see back there a little bit up here, little green leaves poking out. So they're growing really well, which is something I'm happy about. Still haven't added any fish or anything to that. I'm about to. Actually, I'm gonna start filming after I finish filming this and start adding some stuff. But yeah, everything melted a lot, but it's all starting to come back. I'm really hoping there's some costata little leaves back there that are gonna poke through. But it looks like the crypts are growing well. Looks like the narrow leaf Java fern is not dying off. But right now it looks just very kind of weak. The wood is darkening, which is really cool. It's kind of dirty. The tank, I haven't done a water change on it. The dirt kind of leached out a little bit, but other than that, it's doing well. I'm gonna go ahead and add a few fish, or not fish, but other things. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of leave it for a while and let the plants start to grow. And I might do CO2, but I don't know yet. So right now we're just waiting. It is the grow out phase. The scape is tanked, or the tank escaped, and we are waiting for it to grow. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I really hope it goes well. You can probably guess what I'm wanting to put in here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time.